Welcome back. It's been a little while. It's been quite a few months actually since I last recorded. It's been a busy couple of months with a newborn baby who actually turned 1 on the 31st of October. So all this time was dedicated to, spending time with him, getting to know him, loving him even more every single day. And I also got back to work. So my maternity leave ended at the end of February, I think. So I've been working on designing ever since, and I did so much knitting when I was away. And I'm petting the sweater that I have just finished, that is currently blocking, and that I'm hoping is not going to be too warm with the stove right next to it. But I've done a lot of knitting, beautiful knitting with lopi mostly. If you've watched me on this channel before, you know that I do have a love relationship with lopi, which is an Icelandic unspun yarn. I've knit with it single, I've knit with it with one strand of silk mohair, I've knit with it double, I've knit with it triple, and I'm currently knitting with 4 strands of it at the minute, and I'm having the most joyful time because it knits up very quickly, and therefore I get a finished piece very quickly, which is quite satisfying these days when I feel like the days are passing so quickly and I feel like time is sipping through my hands. So it's very satisfying to get something done this quickly. And with lopi, I think that things are quite cost effective. So yeah, I've done quite a bit of knitting. My time away was also spent in the garden this summer, because this has been a lifetime goal of mine to be able to, garden a little bit and eat from the products that we grow ourselves. And this dream came true this year. We harvested so much from the garden, even though this year was probably one of the worst years for gardeners in France, and I think across Europe, in a very long time, because it was a very rainy year and the slug population was kind of out of control. So compared to like other years, apparently it was very bad, but we don't really have much experience, so for us it was still a success. And whenever I went to the greenhouse and picked a bowl full of tomatoes, it just made me so happy. And as a matter of fact, we still have 1 bag of tomatoes. We harvested whatever was left of the tomatoes in the greenhouse, and we put everything into little brown paper bags, and it turns out that the tomatoes keep ripening at home. So even though right now it's mid-November, almost the end of November, we still have 1 bag of tomatoes left, which is super exciting. So most of the summer was spent in the garden, harvesting, preserving, foraging a lot as well, because we found out that there's a massive fig tree not far from where we live, and we harvested 27 kilos of figs this year. It's on public land, So yeah, we were able to pick so much, eat fresh. I transformed quite a bit. We started harvesting our first shiitake mushrooms from logs that we inoculated last year. I got into soap making as well with infused oils, calendula oil, St. John's wort oil, forage or grown flowers from the garden. I made milk. This is a goat milk, calendula oil, pink clay, essential oils, so cinnamon, clove, cardamom, shea butter, coconut oil, and this was my very first batch, and I've used shea butter, coconut oil, and St. John's wort infused oil, I think. So this is gonna be our little soap supply for the year, and once again, this is another dream come true. I'm planning to make way more to give to people, to give to neighbors. I started trading with neighbors quite a bit as well, so we are exchanging things. I have one neighbor that has delicious apples, so I gave her some soap, some shiitake, some walnuts. I just love this circle economy. And I recently harvested seeds from the garden as well, so everything is stored in here, and I'm looking forward to starting a herbal medicine garden next year. Kind of like expand a little bit more and grow even more flowers, and hopefully put even more food in the little larder that we have. So yeah, it's been very, very busy. We've also started doing big renos around the house. So we are redoing our kitchen because it was kind of collapsing. It was falling apart, it was outdated, it was dirty. So we decided to take all of the upper cabinets down and like redo the electricity because it was kind of dangerous, and we're gonna replaster the whole wall. We're still in the process of figuring out what we're gonna do with the splashboard. Yeah, I kind of want to do like wood paneling, but my husband's not really sure, so we need to figure this out in December. We're gonna be away in the Baltics, and we can check out different, materials and things, get ideas, get inspired, and see what we can do in our kitchen. I want it to be rustic, light, a little bit witchy. So we shall see. I thrifted a lot of oak boards from my local secondhand shop. I sanded them down, cut them, so we're gonna be able to have like old oak shelving in the kitchen. And yeah, there's gonna be a lot of handmade things because that's how I like things. And renos outside the house also started. We did not have isolation on the west facing wall and the south facing wall, so we have people that came over and that redid the masonry on the wall, because we do live in an 1871 or 70 cottage, so late 1900 cottage, and it needs a lot of love, and that west facing wall is where we get all of the rain and all of the wind. So upstairs in the attic, all of the beams were cracking when the wind was blowing through the house, and it was very, very cold upstairs. So we took the chimney apart as well inside the cottage, and so we wanted to close up the top of the chimney, but we found out that we have an owl that lives there. I believe that is called in English a barn owl, and we call her Sophie. So she lives in the chimney, so we didn't seal the chimney. She still lives there, hopefully. We just worked around the chimney so she can still go out, and I believe that she's still there because when we came back one evening, we saw her flying out. So that is kind of magical, whimsical. I love it. So we kind of want to add a little owl features around the house, just to, it's her house, it's our house, it's her house. So we kind of want to have Sophie, did I say that we're calling her Sophie? Sophie bits here and there as a reminder of, or as a token of that beautiful animal that we're trying to preserve. The workers also started the south facing wall, and they're gonna divide it into 3 parts because there's too much work to do in one go. So they've done 1/3 of the house, and that means that we're gonna be able to start landscaping that bit as well. So there's a lot that we want to do. There's a lot that needs to be done, and yeah, we're really looking forward to bringing more love to this house, making it even more cozy, and enjoying living in here. Today is Monday, November 4th, and I'm busy working on the computer, editing the last very bits of a new pattern that is coming out tomorrow on the 5th of November, and I am putting together the newsletter for the pattern release. And the pattern that is coming out tomorrow, by the time you're watching this video, the pattern has already been published, but this pattern is very special to my heart because it's something that I had designed more than 5 years ago when my daughter was not even born. At the time we were still living in Riga in our little flat, and I was already designing back then, but I really wanted to make something special for my daughter, and there's a lot of secondhand shops in Riga. Most, I would say 90% of my wardrobe came from there back then, and I still wear a lot of things that I have thrifted there. Anyways, one of the things that I had thrifted was a beautiful skirt in the most beautiful fabric, and I decided to use that fabric to make her a little bear. So I spent so many evenings on the floor, you know, designing the whole thing, cutting the fabric, cutting the template, and embroidering the whole thing. And she carried it all over for a really long time, and one day she lost the bear with other things. And yeah, it's been hard because I do spend a lot of time making things. I put so much love into those things, and it brings me so much joy, you know, to see her wearing things that I've made or to play with things that I've made. And she loved that bear, and yeah, I just, you know, couldn't make another one exactly the same. So I decided why not try making a knitted version. And this was a challenge for me because it involved one knitting technique that I never thought I would use, but never say never. And that technique is intarsia in the round, or intarsia. I knew the reason why that technique was useful in the knitting world, but you know, with the things that I knit, I never thought that I would need that technique in my life until I did. And it is a very addictive technique, I must say. You do need to concentrate when knitting or using this technique, especially at the beginning when you're trying to figure out, you know, what is happening when you flip the work, which yarn bit you need to use. But at some point it clicks and it really starts to make sense. And after that, you can just forget about everything. Just remember to tension properly, especially in the first and last stitch of the intarsia, so the contrasting color stitch. But otherwise, yeah, it's just a new technique, you know. There's new techniques that you learn when knitting all the time, so that's one of them. And that technique was required to make the face of the little bear, because I could have designed it with, you know, like color work. So knit one stitch in CC, knit the second stitch in MC. But that would have been odd because you would have been able to see the contrasting color in the fabric, and I really did not want that to happen. So this is when intarsia in the round, or intarsia, becomes handy. It's when you have a huge chunk of fabric that is knit in the main color, and you only need a small portion in the contrasting color. So in order for the whole thing to look neat, you need to use that technique. So yeah, I have recorded video tutorials for that, for the intarsia in the round section, for the decrease section as well, and a little video tutorial to embroider the face. So the pattern is out now. I will add a little discount code in the description box down below. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a perfect little gift for the little ones in your life for Christmas or Yule or anything that you celebrate in December. So I'm gonna get back to my newsletter writing, and I've already probably inserted a lot of clips of the little bear already. So this month's video is sponsored by Craftsy. If you're not familiar with Craftsy, it's an online platform just for us, the makers. So if you're already a knitter, a crocheter, a sewer, a quilter, or if you're dreaming of becoming skilled with these techniques one day, Craftsy is the platform for you. There's more than 2,000 videos available in more than 20 creative categories to get you started.
Videos are step-by-step tutorials that you can follow whenever you want. That means that you can easily pause and get back to them whenever you have more time. It's perfect if you're a visual learner like me. I certainly don't know everything about knitting and probably never will, but with the help of Craftsy classes, there's a few learn to do things on my knitting bucket list that I'm finally going to be able to cross. I've now learned how to do inversion round, but I still have no idea how to do inversion flat, so that's what's next for me. But there's also a class on Portuguese knitting that I want to take, and also a class on speed knitting with combined continental. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49.
I'm still sniffing the plate of lopi. It is one of my favorite smells in the world. I get so much joy whenever I open a new plate of it and I get to smell it. And this colorway is number 2021, is the Forest Frost, I think, colorway, or not green frost. Well, anyways, it's number 2021 and it's my first time actually knitting with this colorway. It is so beautiful. I do want to incorporate a little bit more green in my wardrobe. I do wear a whole lot of neutrals, as you know, but I kind of want to incorporate a little bit more of a neutral color in the mix. But yeah, this new cast on is actually not for me, it's for my son, because we're about to embark on a 1 month trip to the Baltics and it's probably going to be quite cold. He only has 2 handmade sweaters that fit him right now, so I'm planning to make him something warm and woolly to keep him warm when we're going to be away. So I think that this is going to be great. I only have 1 plate because last time that I have ordered lopi, I decided to try out this colorway. I do order lopi, or I buy lopi as if it was, you know, a household necessity, so I stash it in case anything happens and it's not available anymore, because a lot of my designs are kind of, when I knit with other yarns than with lopi, it's more planned, it's more organized, but lopi is very special to me, and usually when I feel like casting on something new with it, it's on a whim. So if I do not have the yarn or the colorway in stash, there's a high chance that I might not cast on right away, and that doesn't make me happy. So what I'm gonna cast on for my son is a kid version of the not yet released Cosy lopi sweater, which is a sweater knit out of 4 strands of lopi on 9 or 10 millimeter needles, because this is a super fast knit and I'm probably gonna manage to get this done before we go in 2.5 weeks.
Take a train ride just to see you, ride for hours just to
Should I harvest everything?
All of it.
That is ginger.
It's the first time nowadays.
I know, Edgar.
Wasn't looking times stronger than
We need to make tea with that.
yeah.
I think that it was sometime in the summer when I decided that enough was enough and that all of my yarn around the house needed to have their own room, and therefore I bought the little secondhand cabinet that you see behind. Did it do the job that it was intended for? Sort of, not really. I naively thought that all of my yarn stash would fit in there, but it does not. Only half of it found a new house, a new home. So I still have a little bit of yarn here and there around the house that needs to be picked and collected. So I'm gonna have to keep looking for more storage opportunities in the future. I do not want to clutter the space too much, so it's cluttered somewhere else, I guess. But yeah, I would basically need to kind of undo the inside and remove the shelving that is inside the divider, so then I would have more room to stash things, because it's beautiful and practical, but I have more yarn than there's storage for, so yeah, I still have some room to stash for things, because I've been casting on things like a Mad Lady lately, and I've been going through my stash quite a bit, which is wonderful. I have most of my lopi in here, because it comes in plates and it takes less space to have it in a crate, so yeah, it's stashed there. And I placed an order, well, we're gonna see that in the video, I think, but I placed an order last week, was it? For more things that I have on the needles at the moment. So yeah, I'm sitting here at the minute to show you one project that came out. When was it? The end of October, because my little boy turned 1 on the 31st, so I tried to schedule the pattern release around his birthday as well. That is a pattern that I started working on around midsummer, because it's my first time, or like
our first couple of years living in this house, being so close to nature, and I never really witnessed nature that close before. So at that moment in the year, I felt like I was receiving messages from the moth particularly, and he told me that I needed to pay attention, and I kept seeing signs of moths everywhere. So I just got inspired to cast on for a little moth-inspired pair of socks. So that's what I did around or just before midsummer, and I had them on my feet around midsummer and around Samhain as well, because we had a beautiful fire outside, and yeah, there's little moth designs on them. So they're knit. I made two versions of them. There's a thick version that is knit with one strand of einband, istek einband, so that's one strand of lopi yarn lace weight, with one strand of the Highland silk mohair. That is a French silk mohair. So the shepherdess lives in the south of France, and she naturally dyes the silk mohair. So that's 77% mohair, 27% silk, naturally dyed, and it comes in 25 grams for 125 meters. So it's a thick silk mohair. So if you use the two recommended yarn, for the thick version, you're getting like an Aran weight sock, which is super cozy, super comfy to wear around the house as slippers, or in the wellies if you have like rubber wellies that, you know, are not insulated. It's a really nice layer to have inside. And the thin version, if you will, is a sport weight one. And this one uses Knitting for Olive silk mohair, so it's 25 grams, 400 meters, and one strand of Istex einband. And this sock combination is probably my favorite. It combines both rustic yarn and something very smooth and lush and fluffy, and I feel like the silk mohair is helping the sock's durability. It creates a strong sole that is gonna felt over time, and yeah, it kind of like works as the nylon that you would find in more conventional sock yarns. The pattern is available in 3 sizes for the small size and 2 sizes for the larger size, and yeah, they just take no time to knit. They require very little yarn, and they're very addictive to make. So I really hope that you will enjoy making these. I will add a little discount code down below in case you want to grab a copy of the pattern.